Welcome to the Encore Audio Archives YouTube channel. I'm Taper Dave, and this is my channel. I've uploaded hundreds of talks here that I've recorded at meetings in West LA, and I've also recorded conventions starting in 2013. I've got a bunch of those up. And Walt and Mary Murray, the original owners of Encore Audio Archives, started the company in the 80s, and Walt recorded Joe and Charlie's and a bunch of stuff down in Vista, California. My sobriety date is June 20th of 1994. I hope you find something you like, so please like and subscribe to my channel and comment down below. If you want to hear something that I don't have or that you don't see, I'll see that I get it. Anyways, take care and have a great day if you want to.
This meeting provides for AA members with over 20 years of continuous sobriety to share their experience, strength, and hope. Speakers are asked to keep their sharing to 2 minutes, and that's a real stretch, at the lectern, so that we may get a chance to hear as many old-timers as possible. The timer will buzz when your time is up. We have a lot of people with over 20 years of sobriety here tonight, so we're going to try to get through as many as we can. And if we run out of time and everybody hasn't shared, then I'm going to ask you to just stand up and identify yourself, your sobriety and hometown, okay? So I'll start. I'm Linda. I'm an alcoholic. My sobriety date is September the 8th, 1977. And I am from Santa Monica and Blue Jay. And I'm a grateful alcoholic. When I got to the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous, I had no clue who I was or where I was going or anything about my life, and I've been given a life beyond my wildest imagination here. You know, it's been a journey to end all journeys, and I've got to experience life on life's terms. And I'll tell you something, and I say this a lot when I speak in Alcoholics Anonymous. If they offered me a drink today and said, Linda, you're no longer an alcoholic, I wouldn't take that drink, you know, because I would never want to give up what I have found in Alcoholics Anonymous. Never, ever. So with that, I'm going to start calling people to the podium. Thank you. All right, we've got Ken K., sobriety date 8/1/81 from Sugarloaf.
Hi, my name is Ken. Happy Soldiers 51, and I was thinking about how much my life has changed, and I was an angry guy, and I'm no longer an angry guy. I'm happy, joyous, and free today, and it's as a result of Alcoholics Anonymous. I tried to do this for a period of time without the program, and it ended me up in anger management. So I'm a graduate of that program as well, and it started a long time ago, that anger issues, and I finally got over it. One of the things that I did, and I usually, when I speak, I usually talk about something, and when I was first in Alcoholics Anonymous, I could have, should have, might have had a lot longer, but I don't. And I got to make other, and we had a tumultuous and healed through the process of Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm so grateful for this program.
Okay, now we're going to hear from Charlie. I think it's G, sobriety date 5/10/93 from Long Beach. No? No? Hey, Charlie. Thank you so much. Okay, now let's hear from Laurel D., October 9, 1993, Apple Valley. No? Laurel? Okay. How about Nan S., April 1, 1992, Santa Barbara? Yeah.
Hi everybody, my name's Nan, I'm an alcoholic. I was just saying, do we have to go up there? Can I pretend like I'm not here? Although it's really an honor and a privilege to be here. Steve and I recently, we live in Santa Barbara, and now we also have a house in Big Bear, and it's just such a gift to the program. And I was 29 when I got here, and I'm 52 now, and that just seems weird. I don't know, it just seems weird. Yeah. And, you know, Yeah, I really appreciate the old timers when they get to meetings and they share their experience, strength, and hope to the newcomers, and they don't share about what's going on, the dramas and the traumas of their life. And so, if you're new here or you're struggling, I'm really glad you're here. You don't ever have to drink again if you don't want to, and even if you do want to, you don't have to drink. And for me, it was really important to be in the middle of the herd. I had relapsed after 4.5 months and went to a women's sober living home where they, welcome to the sober living homes who are here and treatment, yay. And, they took us to things like this, and I was 9 months sober when I went to my first convention with this residential, this sober women's home, and boy, they said volunteer. My sponsor said, you get in there and you just say, what can I do? I'm here for the weekend. I'll do whatever you want me to do. And, it changed my sobriety. I felt like I belong here. I fit here. I am a part of, and you guys love me. And what a gift that is. And I've stayed in the middle of the herd. Most of the 22 years I've been here, I've gone away a little bit. And that is not a fun place to be. And so I just keep doing what I learned at the beginning. They told me at that home that manageability starts right where my feet are, so to make your bed first thing in the morning. And I never made my bed before. And I'm happy to report I've made my bed every day for over 22 years. And it may sound silly, but it's just one of those many little things that I'm afraid to not do, because that may be the one thing that's keep me sober. So thank you.
Thank you, Nan. Okay, now Dennis, I think it's Dennis or Denise, sobriety date December 13, 1989, from Yucca Valley.
Dennis, alcoholic. First, and what's most important, welcome to all the new people here. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I hope you hear something or relate to somebody's story that might help you stay here. I want to stay here. I have two things that are most important in my life. My sobriety date, 12/13/89 is my sobriety date. Okay? My sponsor is named Sal. He's known as Jimmy in Los Angeles. Those are the two most important things in my life right now, because without those two things, I would not be standing here. My life has had its ups and downs. House burned down, people die, wife died, but you know what? If you use the tools that you're taught in this program, and here's the biggest tool, you pick up the 10,000-pound phone and you call someone in this fellowship, and they will walk you through whatever's going on in your life. And with that, I have a good life. And this is a gift to come here. It's beautiful up here, and I hope everybody has a great day. Thanks.
Thank you. Now we'll hear from Bill H., August 1st, 1981, from San Diego.
Most importantly, my name's Bill and I'm an alcoholic. And, August 1st, 1981 was not my first sobriety date. In May of 1975, I was in the Navy, and I was removed from a nuclear submarine with my feet tied together and handcuffs on because guys that acted like I did didn't belong around nuclear reactors and nuclear weapons. So the Navy sent me to rehab, and I showed up here, and you guys were all hugging each other and talking about God, and I'm like, oh, this ain't for me. But this program seeps in. The seeds of recovery are planted in my soul in that time, and it was only a year later that I came back in 1976 and stayed sober for 3 years. And I did all the things that you were supposed to do in the first year, And I learned the hard way that you don't come to AA and work the steps once and then sit on your butt for 2 years and do nothing but date girls and buy cars and stuff like that, that you have to stay at it. You don't hear it that often these days, but you grow or you go. And as the lady was sharing about it being odd, I'm 58, almost 59 years old and 33 years sober, and I'm like, how the hell did that happen,
That's right.
So, I keep my hand out to the new guy, I keep going to meetings. I try to be of service to this fellowship in any capacity that I'm asked to be, and I keep coming back, and try to be transparent to you guys, I can't show up here, when everything's going wrong and tell you that I'm fine, because you get a choice to save your face or save your ass around here, so do yourself a favor and show up and save your ass. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, now we'll hear from Cindy B. Looks like July 4th, 1985, San Juan Capistrano. No? Okay, next. Linda A., October 3rd, 19...
My name's Linda A. Yes, October 3rd, 1987. Sober through the grace of God, and I'm totally blessed. I know the only thing that hasn't changed since I got to Alcoholics Anonymous is the message of Alcoholics Anonymous. You don't drink no matter what, even if your ass is falling off. And God of my own understanding. And I have so many things to be grateful for. I didn't feel when I first got here, I was totally dead on the inside. Not only did I end up in places where I never thought I'd end up and do things that I never thought I'd do. I share through the grace of God because I believe that's why I'm up here right now. That's all.
Thank you. Well, we are moving along. That's great. Jack C., January 3rd, 1974, from Twin Peaks.
I'm an alcoholic, I'm Jack. Jesus. On behalf of my ego, I thank you. I might step aside for just a second. This is important to me. By any chance, do you have any Vietnam veterans sitting in here? Okay, I want to welcome you home. That's important to me. I did 2 tours right now. I lost a lot of buddies over there, so I just don't want them forgotten. My date is January 3rd, 1974. Straight through, no slips. Just one day at a time, ain't God. I'm not a guru or anything like that. But I will share this with you. This program, Alcoholics Anonymous, has saved my life. The reason it has is because I wanted it. I had reached my bottom, as most of us do, in different ways. I lost marriages, I lost everything, top jobs, executive jobs, through this drinking. I've seen a lot over the years. I was a counselor for a number of years professionally. The disease of alcoholism, I've shared this in the meetings, I'm going to do it again. The disease of alcoholism will take anybody. And it will say, I'm different because. I've never had a DUI. I'm a college graduate. I'm too smart. Any of you thinking that way, get rid of it and kick it out, because you're the one that's going to go after it. The program works, but you have to love it and stay with it. And like it's been said before by others, if your butt's falling off, you get to a meeting. If you're successful making a lot of money, you get to a meeting. Because I stay with this thing every single day, and things get better, life gets better, but I still stay with this little mother up here every day. It's going to take me out. So I sit in the meetings, I'm Jack, I'm an alcoholic. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Now we'll hear from Ivania R., September the 1st, 1988, from Los Angeles.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ivania, and I am an alcoholic.
Hi, Ivania.
And I'm here by the grace of God and the Fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous. I want to welcome the new people. I got sober when I was 19 years old. I 25 years of sobriety in 2 weeks today. I have 25 years of sobriety. And I've grown up in Alcoholics Anonymous. It is awesome to be 20 years old and say, oh my God, my life is in front of me. For that, I will never be able to repay. My last drunk started here in Big Bear. This guy was helping me out. and he was in the program and he was helping me out. Anyways, I got drunk. I started my drink. I drank half a glass of something, I don't know what it was. I blacked out. And I woke up 3 days later, and he said, "Dude, you gotta leave because you almost burned down the cabin." And that's the story. I haven't burned down anything since I've been sober, and I just thank you for my life.
Thank you. Okay, Cynthia F., April 26, 1985. There's no city listed. Cynthia? No? Okay. How about Roxana H., June 8th, 1980, from Newberry Springs, California?
I'm Roxanne, I'm an alcoholic. Hi, Roxanne. I also got sober at 19 years old. I know it's a little bit different. I found myself joining the United States Marine Corps in a blackout. What a way to come to! Ended up in a place called Barstow. Well, 29 Palms is where I took my last drink. I drank till I couldn't drink one more drop. And I got to Barstow and found Alcoholics Anonymous, and it saved my life. There's so many people that, I don't know, these old guys, were the ones there smoking cigars and playing pinochle, but they saved my life. Anyway, I'm so grateful for the sponsors and the people that took me through the steps. They made me get involved with service work. They drugged me to Boron Prison, H&I, Intergroup. They gave me a foundation to keep going in my life. So, here I am. I met a guy in AA after I was a couple years sober. We got married. We've lived this sober life for 30 years doing this deal. Doing AA everywhere, all over the communities. I'm going to get choked up, but it's okay. I lost him last year. This is my first year with not having him here with me. But I suited up, I showed up, I'm still here, and I'm still sober through it all. So that's what it's about. Keep the foundation they gave me.
Okay. Let's hear from Ronald M., March 13th, 1994, from Escondido. All right.
Ron McHugh, I'm an alcoholic, got sober March 13, 94. I lived in Idlewild from 1978 to 1998. The last 4 years I was sober, so I know what it's like to hang out in a small mountain town, man. I knew every dealer, every nook and cranny, every bar, and everything. And when I got sober, I just focused on going to meetings, and I walked in those doors, and the guys I knew were hanging all over the place, and I was sick and tired of what I had. I got here, I looked over at a dumpster, and there was my girlfriend digging through the dumpster. She'd come back one more time, and we got 30 days together, and she left, and again, and I came down to Redlands, and I met my wife, and we've been together 20 years doing this thing together. My life is very good today. I have everything I need, don't have everything I want, don't even care about what I want. Alcoholics Anonymous is awesome. I got a couple of brothers in the program, and it's given me back a life and a way of thinking that I had no idea. And then I listened to Herb Cave this morning, and obviously I still have no idea. So, it's like you never arrive. This is a growth thing. It keeps going and going and going. And that's okay with me, because I like learning new things and growing, and that's why I'm here. This has been super emotional, man. Everybody that talks, and especially when Rosie was sharing this morning, I just want to bust out in tears, man. It's a good thing, man. I love this thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll hear from Phil G., July 29, 1991, Grand Terrace. No? Okay. Maybe we start increasing time here, who knows? Oh, let's hear from Tom F., March 28, 1962, from Crestline.
I'd run down, but I'm getting old. My name's Tom, and I'm an alcoholic. Yeah, I sobered up on the 28th of March, 1962. I happened to be on active duty in the United States Army. I had 9 years in the Army, and I was a private first class. I ended up doing a couple of wrong things and ended up in a prison unit. And I went to my first AA meeting on that very date, the 28th of March, 1962. And I went to that meeting because there was nowhere else to go, and they had coffee and cookies there. I had no idea that my life would change. There happened to be 5 soldiers who brought a meeting into that meeting that night in that prison unit, and they convinced me that I had a problem with alcohol. And I latched onto this program like it was the only thing left in this world for me, and I've been sober ever since. That's over 52 years. In that time, I completed my Army career. I not only retired from the Army, but I retired as an officer, not an enlisted man. After my retirement, I got myself a BA degree from college. I worked in the alcoholism field and got tired of working in that, and I ended up actually going into the entertainment field as an actor, and I've been doing that for the last 30 years. And my crowning accomplishments happened last year. I went back to school and got myself a master's degree in theater arts. Those are the things we can do if we have a clear mind and a clear choice, and we stay away from that which screws up our mind. Yeah. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Tom. Okay, now let's hear from Al M., November 27, 1981, Lake Arrowhead.
My name is Al, I'm an alcoholic. I'm grateful to be in a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous. Welcome to all the newcomers and all the guys that, and all the people in the recovery homes. I don't have to drink no matter what, even if somebody behind me is farting and not telling me they're sorry. Excuse me, that's okay. So, my daughter got Lou Gehrig's disease and suffered for 5 years and died. The day she died, I went to a meeting. 6 months after that, I got a brain tumor. I had surgery on my brain. And by the way, the doctor gave me a certificate saying that I do have a brain. When I got out of the hospital and I got well enough, I went to a meeting. The brain tumor grew back. I had another surgery. When I got well enough, I went to a meeting. The brain tumor grew back. I had to get radiation therapy. I went to a meeting every day. The point that I'm trying to make is this. My sponsor, Bob Davis, told me this all the time. The easiest thing that we can do for sobriety is meetings, 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 and more meetings. And the only reason you don't go to a meeting, Al, is because your ass fell off. Then you find a paper bag, put your ass in it, and take it to a meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Al. Okay, Vicki G., May 27, 1979, Pioneer Town, California.
I'm Vicki, I'm an alcoholic. I wasn't going to sign that little card, and my friend Bernadette said, aren't you going to sign up for being a long-timer? And I said, no, because I'll have to go and speak from the podium. And she said, well, you know, it's not about you. She said, it's about being useful to God and your fellows. And I said, I knew that. And so if you're new, get a sponsor, be a sponsor, surround yourself with people in AA who have sense enough to remind you it's not about you. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, Gerald L., October 26, 1984, from Garden Grove. Woohoo!
My name's Gerald. I'm an alcoholic. And it's certainly an honor and a privilege to be here. Alcoholics Anonymous saved my life. I got sober in South Louisiana, a little town called Lafayette. And, it's Bayou country. And the only reason I checked into treatment was because my girlfriend had an intervention done on her, and she was in treatment. She said, if you want to continue this relationship, you got to get sober. I had never had a DUI or a court card or anything like that, but I knew I was out of control with alcohol and drugs. My life was a disaster. I should have been dead a number of times. I had friends point guns at me, and just lucky I didn't get shot and killed or kill somebody else. And I thought that when I heard that I was an alcoholic and that I couldn't drink anymore, it was like a prison sentence. It was like they said, okay, 20 years in prison. But it turned out to be the best thing that could have happened to me. When I was a week in that treatment center, I kneeled down on the side of my bed and said, God, what do I do? What would you... I had no idea what to do. I wasn't a Christian at the time. I wasn't like, spiritual at the time. It was like asking God, it's like to bail me out, negotiating with God. If you get me out of this, I'll do this or whatever. But, fortunately, I moved from Louisiana to Colorado, and there was a guy up there by the name of Don Pritz that, excuse me, that really affected me. When I heard him speak, he talked about the 12 steps and having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these 12 steps, that the desire to drink was taken away. And I really believe that the 12 steps are here to produce a spiritual awakening in the individual. And that when that happens, for me, the desire to drink was taken away. And that was October 26th of '84, and I haven't had a drink since. And, I didn't come in here to get sober. I just wanted to save a relationship with a girlfriend. But something happened, and God blessed me with sobriety. And, lifelong friendships in this program. I've been to meetings all around the world. I worked for a construction company and got to travel a lot. So anyhow, enough out of that. But this thing works, and bless you guys. I hope you are successful with your sobriety. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Chris E., January 7th, 1982, from Redlands.
Chris, alcoholic, like I said, January 7th, 82. And for me, I guess it's saying that I need to do all the basics of recovery, that use all the tools, help newcomers every day, answer phone calls at 2:30 in the middle of the night, even if it bugs my husband, do all the simple basics, sponsor people more in the last 2 years than in the beginning of the program. It's for my emotional sobriety, and I really identified with Rose to talk her early. It's like in the last couple of years, those emotional or mental twists that could take me to the edge of the drink, or they make me act like a dry drunk that's hell to live with if I don't use all the program. It's like saying, instead of saying, why me, why not me, it's like the phase of recovery. We go through deaths of family members that are in the disease, some out of the disease, and also I get to be available to help some sponsorees. A lot of friends of mine have went through cancer treatment in the last 2 years, and I get to hold their hand, be there, be available. It's all part of God's gift. As long as I put things in perspective and ask God, what should I do next? Instead of, I can easily, like that, turn into that tornado again if I don't pray and do all the basics. And thank goodness, it's like for the last 2 years, part of that 1 year in the middle, I had to have my main sponsor of 4 years, but a tough love sponsor for a year in the middle to kind of get me back on track with myself. And basically, it's all good. And, as long as I remember, why not me? And, that I'm sober one day at a time. And I don't know, I just don't need to say anymore. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, Chuck C., May 10, 1971, from Covina.
Hi, I'm Chuck C., grateful recovered alcoholic. And I say I'm recovered because I'm recovered from a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body. And that's what it says in the book. I've been studying the book and reading the book, and I found in reading and studying the history of Alcoholics Anonymous, I found that if it wasn't for Ann and Lois, this thing couldn't have stayed and come about. Because back then, they used to start the meetings with a prayer, with meditation, and then they got right into solutions. Thank God that's what I found when I got here. For you newcomers, welcome. If you get blessed like I am today to be able to stand up here and say that I'm sober this many days, this many years, it comes one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, sometimes one moment at a time. And I had a guy I used to pray with when we'd hold hands, and he used to grab your wrist, and he said, heartbeat to heartbeat. That's the gift of God, and that's what you find here. Thank you.
How about Tom F., November 20, 1985, from San Bernardino? He's probably out at the cooking still. Is he here? Oh, there he is.
What do you mean you didn't see me?
My name's Tom. I'm an alcoholic. Good to know what the hell I am. And I'm really glad there's a solution. It's called the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, David. And I want to thank Glenn and Cobbs, Chuckster, all the guys that were down there cooking in the pit. Way to go, guys. And then, too, all the people that had spent all those weekends on Sunday at 12:30 at the Blue Jay Alano Club, putting this thing together, because it takes a lot of time, and I'm appreciative. So I read, my home group is Lake Arrowhead Men's Stag Meeting, obviously one of the best groups in AA, and I'm very grateful that I'm accepted in that group. I started out this morning, like I do a lot of mornings, I go to the Behavior Medical Center in Loma Linda because I can fall downhill. And they got a lot of newcomers there, jitter joint, and I like that place. And what I do is while the meeting's kind of going on, I read 84 through 88 because I didn't know how to pray and I didn't know how to meditate. And it gives me simple instructions on what to do every day. So I ask God to direct my thinking, keeping it divorced from self-pity. Imagine that. Dishonest and self-seeking motives. Now, I know there's no fun after that, but in Alcoholics Anonymous, this place is my life. And it's the most important thing. I try to protect my sobriety. I learned that from all the sponsors I've had. Scotty and Bill McCain, got all kinds of people. Alex, Patch Alex, just very lucky person to be sober. Thank you.
We call him Kissin' Tom. Okay. Now, Mark D., January 4th, 1983, from Sugarloaf. No? Okay. Moving right along. How about Vicky? Vicky S., November 6, 1981, Lake Arrowhead. Woohoo, Vicky!
Hi, I'm Vicky Alcoholic.
Hi, Vicky.
I didn't know I'd have to stand up here when I signed that. I got sober in Rochester, New York, and one thing they said to me was take the cotton out of your ears and stick it in your mouth. And I thought that was really rude. But it made a point, and I was too afraid to go against what you guys were telling me because I wasn't in any position to make any decisions. I was brought to this outpatient program, and one thing I did was I drove the wrong way on the freeway in a blackout, and I got pulled over by a whole bunch of police, and I didn't get a ticket. So that was a long time ago. I've been through a lot in sobriety, like we all have. If you're around for any time at all, you go through life. And I'm grateful for all of it because I've learned through everything. When I got here, I wasn't married and I didn't have any kids, and I have 5 kids, and I actually was married for 29 years, and my husband also passed away last year. And I'm grateful for everything that I've been given, and everything that was taken away and what I got left. Thank you.
Okay, let's hear from Nancy W., November 11, 1989, from Big Bear Lake. You here? Yep.
Hi, Nancy, alcoholic.
Hi, Nancy.
11/11/89. For those of you who don't know, the 11th of that month is Veterans Day. And I don't know why that happened other than maybe things in my past. And I have a grandson who just became a Marine, and he's the 5th generation of my family that's in the service. So his grandpa's up in heaven shining upon him and very happy. I grew up in a small town in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and partly in the northern part of Wisconsin. I did a lot of drinking right from high school, all through high school on, and back then, well, I never got a DUI, I never got arrested, never did anything too exciting, but the reason for that was the whole town was related to me. My uncle was the sheriff, and my other uncle was the chief of police, and my dad was the county commissioner, and all the cousins were in law enforcement, and it was the greatest drunk experience in my life. But then I moved to California, and again, I guess God blessed me because I drove in California with drinks in my lap, and and all the things, and somebody said about getting arrested or stopped on the freeway. Well, I took a friend's motorhome one night, and after I'd been drinking for a long time, and I made a dead stop on the I-805 because I thought I saw a red light. So anyway, I finally came into the rooms, and life has changed. I'm not in San Diego anymore. I'm in Big Bear Lake. I love it here. I love everybody here. I love someone here. I love everything about it. Thanks.
Okay, how about Denise J., April 18, 1989, from Norco? No? No? Okay, how about Jim M., January 3rd, 1990, from Big Bear City? Where'd these Big Bear people go, huh? How about Larry B., January 29, 1981, from Los Angeles / Downey? Yeah?
My name's Larry. I'm an alcoholic. What a crowd to have to follow. This is incredible. My sobriety date is January 29th, 1981, and that's very important. I have a home group, and that's a 10+ in Long Beach, California, and I have a sponsor by the name of Willie Webb. And Willie, he took me on as a sponsee about 8 years ago when I needed a sponsor, and he took me page by page through the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, which took us a little over a year to accomplish that. And he says, the only obligation that you have to me is to take 6 people to, through the big book in the rest of your life. And I'm currently working on sponsee number 3 right at the moment. And it's actually changed my life, okay? Because what's important to me is that the guy who said meetings, 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 it's just something that I do. I do a lot of meetings of Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm fortunate that I have people that I sponsor, and I have a, But I do want to tell, if there's anybody new in the room, in my beginning, I was stark, raving, freaking crazy, and I was nuts, and I was certifiable, and I was self-willed, run riot. And it took me about 3.5 years to get around to take that 1,000-pound pen to begin that dreaded 4th step of Alcoholics Anonymous. And then that's not how I would recommend doing this program, but that was the way I did it. But I wasn't working the program, I wasn't working the steps, but I did do meetings, 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 and that did, through the grace of God, keep me sober. I believe in the miraculous, okay, and I've seen the miraculous happen to people on a regular basis, and I have this incredible life, and I owe it all to the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. Thanks for letting me share.
How about Jody T., October 4, 1975, from Lake Havasu City, Arizona? Yeah? No? All right. How about Steve O., November 30, 1989, from Santa Barbara? Yeah!
Hi, everybody. I'm Steve. I'm an alcoholic. And, I was thinking it's hard for me to believe that I'm in a generation of old-timers who I used to think were so wise when I got here. But they were wise. The old-timers, when I got here, came up to newcomers, and they said, you got a commitment? And I wasn't smart enough to lie, and said no, and you walked away with a commitment. And they said things like, it's easier to stay sober than to get sober. And they said, if you think you got problems now, just try taking a drink and watch them multiply. And these were all phrases that I could grasp onto because my life was a mess. My birthday was November 17th of 1989. I turned 31 years old. And I had one of those big 22-ounce tumblers full of vodka with just a tiny splash of orange juice in it. And I drank a whole bottle of vodka, and I realized that I was stone cold sober. And oh man, that was a bad feeling. So I knew that alcohol had turned on me and that I was going to have to do something about my drinking. And 2 weeks later, I walked into the Valley Alano Club in downtown Rancho Cucamonga, the sobriety capital of the world. And, I'm one of those that I was beat enough to where from November 30th to today, I haven't found it necessary to take a drink or a drug. And the thing that I think is probably the biggest gift, there's so many gifts I've received, but, because I found a higher power in this program, my desire to stay sober today is stronger than when I got here. And, guys like me, I know that there's a God in my life because of my willingness to do whatever it takes to stay sober. Thanks very much.
How about Jack B., December 7, 1988, Lake Arrowhead? Yeah.
I'm Jack, grateful alcoholic. If I had a brogue, I would roll my R's. Tom, wherever you are, I need a brogue right now. Ain't it grandma, the wind stopped blowing? But it hasn't. Let me explain very briefly. Thank you. You see this thing here? Well, this was for her. I came to this conference expecting to have a good time, drink in AA, fellowship, hear super wise speakers and workshops, maybe eat lunch, and walk my dog who's in the car, and just have a great time. And this was so I could get the call from her, the one that was going to meet the expectations of my alcoholic mind and worship me in the manner it's telling me I deserve. Instead, I spend an hour on the phone with PayPal. Now, I have something called the Take It Back prayer, and it goes like this. God, grant me the anger to rail at the things I cannot change, the weakness to refuse to change the things I can, and the stupidity not to accept the difference. So that was my prayer for an hour. And I didn't get lunch. So we set it aside, which is the right prayer, and here I am. And so to me, this program is boots on the ground, one day at a time, life coming at me. And I use my sponsor, who told me to go to meetings, and more meetings, and it's still here. So I brought it here. My spiritual path, my fellowship, and read the books, and service. So that's it, and my expectations are being met right now by being here with you. Thank you.
Arlene J., May 9th, 1969, San Diego. Okay, she's up in the back. How about Dave B., December 18, 1972, from South Bay? Yeah.
Dave Barge, alcoholic. I was in a meeting a couple of weeks ago, and a newcomer was in there talking about he had issues. What'd you say? Issues. Did you have issues? And an old timer that's sitting there in the meeting looked at him and says, there's only two issues. Issue drinking or issue not. So if you have issues, I'm sharing that with you. I celebrate my birthday December 18th, 1972. Thank God for the old timers. I had drank myself to a place that I didn't know the date or the day or what I was coming here for. You know. So I was here for a while, for a few months, and people were talking about, when did you come? Your sobriety date is important, and I didn't have one. Didn't know. And the old timers got together and said, well, you came about a week before Christmas. So December 18th is a week before Christmas. And so that's when I celebrate my birthday. I don't even know if that's true. I know that was 29 days, 7 months, and 41 years ago. So even on a lie, I've been here for a while. And now, here we are in old timers meeting, and I love the old timers. Who was here to keep the doors open for me? The guy didn't know what day it was. Didn't know the date. Had a place to go, only because of the old timers. Kept the doors open. Somebody was there, just like somebody was here this weekend, made the coffee and set the chairs up. I didn't do nothing, I just showed up. Said, give me mine. Give me what you got, give me. And yet the old timers had that done. So I love the old timers. I respect the old timers. And I try to give away what was given to me in those days. And so at my meeting, we don't have a lot of rules or regulations, but we got old guys like me to give you the look. And you used to read all this stuff to your cell phones and stuff. My home group, some guy pulled a cell phone out last week, 2 weeks ago, and the assistant secretary just reached over and took his phone and put it in his pocket. We don't even talk about it. It's just the way it's done. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Terry M., April 13th, 1981, from Culver City.
Thank you. Terry, alcoholic. I'm old now, so I have to take my time coming down the stairs. My sobriety date is April 13th, 1981, and I'm extremely grateful for my sobriety. And
I was born in Austin, Minnesota, the spam capital of the world. Yes. And I got sober in Phoenix, Arizona at a group called 4848 South Central. And there were a lot of old timers there that knew Bill W., knew Dr. Bob, and very grateful to their tutelage and their pointing us forward. And they made me the cake lady for 4 years. Oh, God. So service has always been a foundation, and it gives me a chance to meet people and to get out of myself, because I can be my own worst enemy. So I'm incredibly grateful for Alcoholics Anonymous. It brought my father and I close together. We had a very torn relationship, and I was able to be of service for him for almost 17 years before he died. And without Alcoholics Anonymous and the meetings and the sponsor and learning about service and getting out of myself, I would have missed that tremendous gift. And he finally, we could tell each other we loved each other about 2 years before he died. So, and the biggest gift from Alcoholics Anonymous is laughter. Oh my God, we are really batshit crazy. And it's just so much fun. It's so much fun. Thank you.
Brian M. with 26 years from Los Angeles.
Brian, alcoholic.
Hey, Brian.
Well, as you can see, I didn't even fill the card out right. December 18th, 1988. So, I want to welcome all of us, the old timers, who keep showing up. I think that's big. This is the first time I've been to this conference. Linda kept passing out the announcements about it, and I made a decision. I think it was Friday to come. I don't know if any of you can relate to that, but. And for the new people, thank God you're here. It can all stop. Your misery can stop, and you can start having a really good time by doing all the things that you could not do until you got sober. And that certainly was my case. We go to AA, we go to the meetings, we work the steps and everything like that, but our real life is once we leave the confines of this security and go back into our everyday life. And that's where this stuff has got to start paying off. What was the point of getting sober if now you could not accomplish those things that you wanted to all your life? I had a mother that was really, really sweet and dear to me, and I'm going to tell this little story because I think it's funny and people are getting a lot of laughter here, is that I was sober 5 years. My mother was 4'10". She came from Japan. She could still barely speak English after being in America for 60 years. I used to take her to the market every Saturday, and I said, Mom, can we hurry up a little bit? I've got to go to meeting. Meeting? What meeting? I said, AA meeting. You still going to AA? And I said, yeah, Mom. Why? And I thought I had to make up a really good reason. I said, because I'm the president. Oh, then take me home right away. You have to go. So if anyone in your family ever doubts why you're going to AA, just tell me the president.
Okay, how about Lynette M., December 6, 1983, from Escondido? Yeah?
My name's Lynette, and I'm an alcoholic. And I didn't fill out the card, he did, because I didn't want to get up here either. It's very intimidating. Welcome to the newcomers. I hope you find something here that keeps you coming back. I don't know why you're here, how you got here. Frankly, don't really care. Just that you keep coming back. I'm really blessed, I feel. I got here on that white light experience, and I have not had to go back out since then. I am absolutely terrified of going back out there. So when you come in here and you tell me about your war stories and all the arrows you get in your ass, it keeps me here. I hope that you find, I got sober in Redlands, California, where Chris is at. I hope you find what I called a Nazi group to get sober with. They were very, very mean. They were very, very truthful. And they pulled me all the way into the center of Alcoholics Anonymous. And I hope that you find a group that's like that. They kind of shoved that book up my butt and out my mouth. I hope you find a group like that. We have a gentleman in Escondido that one of his sayings is that, if you're new, please come all the way in, sit all the way down, and stay. And I can't believe that people don't do that. When I see people, especially sponsees, go back out and come back in and go back out and come back in, it breaks my heart. It literally breaks my heart. This is a gift. It's an absolute gift, and I am so grateful that I accepted that gift from God, and that every day I stay grateful. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. How about Diane L., October 18, 1985, from Joshua Tree?
I'm Diane L. Looper, actually, from Joshua Tree, California, 1885. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for this conference. I kind of came from a school, too. Now, we teach on podiums. Podiums don't bother me. We had a bunch of them where I came from. Yeah, I had to do everything everybody else up here said, and I love that sense. I love that issue joke. Man, I'll take that home. And, go to meetings, mainly stay sober, help others. I got into recovery at I was carried through the doors of a residential home in Porterville, California. And somebody knows where Park Center may be. Anyhow, I saw a cross on that door that said, "Peace to all who enter here." And at that very second, I promised my higher power that if I was allowed to stay sober, that I'd do my very best to help others. And God has granted me that gift, that promise. And I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. Mary M., May 4th, 1994, Big Bear City. No? Is she here? Yep. Come on down.
I'm Mary. I'm an alcoholic. Thanks for all coming today to visit my town. I probably been said a million times, but I owe AA a debt of gratitude. I can never pay him back, ever. For the first time in my whole life, when I first walked into AA, my first meeting, my first week of meetings, people were really glad to see me. I hadn't experienced that in quite some time, because I was a blackout drinker. Pretty much every time I drank, I blacked out. And I thought that's what happened to everybody that drank. That's part of the fun, I had a lot of people helping me. Nobody ever threw me out of AA for behaving badly, which was really good because I had no impulse control when I got here. And I don't want to smash the hope of newcomers, and this is just my story, but it took me 8 years to regain some semblance of that impulse control, and meaning whatever I thought came out my mouth, and it usually wasn't tactful. I'm also one of those people, the big book talks about it, how women are gone beyond recall in just a few years. I used to use that as an excuse for why I didn't belong here, because I had like around a 4-year drinking history. I mean, how is that even possible? I was just baffled that something could beat me so badly. But I had the craving just as bad as someone who'd been drinking for 30 years, And now I'm so happy.
Okay, Cheryl E., March 5, 1987, Yucca Valley.
Hi, Cheryl, alcoholic.
Hi, Cheryl.
Wow, I'm grateful to be here. And I don't know if anybody's out here that hated the being AA. I came to AA in 1983, and I hated it. I went to treatment, and I was teachable for about 3 days. And I got out, and I knew how to run this program. I was going to smoke a little weed, and then I was going to go be a drug and alcohol counselor and help you people. I tell you, it didn't work. What did get me to AA was attraction and not promotion. And by that, what I mean is, I relapsed in 85 on alcohol, kept smoking pot, went to a meeting, and met him. And that was the attraction. And I followed him around to meetings. And I still was like this with AA. It's like, get a sponsor? Okay, she's my sponsor, but I will never call her. It didn't work. I married him, and I remember thinking, oh, got him? That's sick. And my ass ended up falling off, and I got so desperate, sober. I was really aware that alcoholism was going to kill me, even though I wasn't drinking. And I got real damn teachable. And I love AA today, too. And I got to tell you this. I got a daughter sitting over there. Almost 4 years sober. I'm going to end with this little story. I have a boy that's schizophrenic. And to me, this is partly how AA works. This happened in sobriety. I was living in Maui. I get this call from him. He was suicidal for a year, and he's calling me every day, going to kill himself. And then he calls me one day. I used to take him to Alatot. He says, Mom, I'm not suicidal today. I says, why? He says, I found Schizophrenics Anonymous. Whoa. I fell to my hands and knees because he said, Mom, I'm not alone. He got that from Bill and Bob. I thank you so much.
How about Joyce, May 17, 1992, from Venice?
Hi, Joyce, alcoholic.
Hi, Joyce.
Wow, this is nice. I am so grateful to be here. This is the first time I've been to this convention. It's wonderful. I came with a great group of people, and I've met a lot of you that live here last night, and it's just very warm, and I'm just happy to be here. This convention is opening my eyes to some new things. I'm still teachable after 22 years. I can't believe I'm here 22 years. I came into this program very angry, very hopeless, wanting to commit suicide, just got out of jail, ended up in a psych ward, and a couple of people from AA came and took me to a meeting, my first meeting at Clare in Culver City, and the woman that I heard I could relate to so much. What I heard was that you could be happy with simple things. I never knew about simple joys. I was a drama junkie, an angry drama junkie. And I'm grateful for the life I have today. I love my life. And I heard somebody say the other night that success is being happy with what you have. And so Alcoholics Anonymous has allowed me to be successful, which I never thought would be possible. Thank you.
Carol M., February 16, 1982, from Orange.
My name is Carol, and I am an alcoholic. You know, on January 4th in Massachusetts, that's the beginning of my last drunk. And I ended up I was on my way to New York, and I ended up in Honolulu sometime in February. Still kind of hazy where I was. And I ended up in Honolulu, and everything I owned was in 2 shopping bags. I had no money. I had no job. I had no boyfriend. I had no home. I had issues. A lot of them. And I was angry. And I called this one person who had her last drink at my house, and she tricked me into going into a treatment center. Tricked me. And I didn't want to go, but I didn't have any place else to lay my head. And I just went in angry. Oh, I was angry. I love anger. It gets me moving. Anyway, I got tricked into this program, and I was there for a couple of days, and they put me in the buggy. And I wouldn't drink with these people. And they put me in the buggy, they took me out to Mokuleia to a roundup. And there were all these fools hugging and kissing and rubbing up against, more white teeth than I've ever seen, smiling and cheering, smoky. And the first speaker I ever heard was Clint Hodges. And I'm sitting in this crowded, smoky room, and he's up there telling this horrible terror story about being held hostage by a rat all night long, and I knew that feeling. And then in the morning, it turned out to be a pair of dirty socks. And I identified with him. And, you know, that was the first seed that was planted. And the next day, I think they took me to a meeting. Then there was this big, blue-eyed, blonde-haired man that I instantly knew I'd been sentenced to AA to capture him. And I'm living proof if you bring the body, the brain will follow. I followed this man for 6 months. Luckily, I did not capture him because my eyesight came back after about a year. I did not want to be sober. Drinking was not the problem. It was the solution. And 32 years later, and that's all you're going to get is 32 years, it is the greatest thing that has ever happened to me in my life. I live a life today so full of hope, so full of joy, and so full of love, and it's all because of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Jeannie T., April 22nd, 1988, Playa del Rey.
Hi, my name is Jeannie. I'm an alcoholic. So grateful. Right beside me, they got up and then they called me too. I'm so happy. I love Alcoholics Anonymous. I believe in divine intervention. It's how I got to you. People prayed me into this room, the cocktail waitress and my bartender. They prayed me into the room of Alcoholics Anonymous. They were both sober. When they walked into a room, a meeting room, they would tap a chair and they would say, Jeannie. You know, I sit in those seats today. I'm so grateful. I did not want to be sober. I'm an ex-Playboy bunny. I love to party. I have issues. Issue. And I didn't want to be sober because alcohol was my protector. Alcohol was my mate. Alcohol was everything to me. Alcohol kept me looking good, feeling good, being good. If I didn't have alcohol, I was like a bulldozer with tits. You better move aside. And that's just my story. How did I get sober? That cocktail waitress came to me one day in the same service area at the Marriott Hotel where I was working with her, and she was my bartender. She came in and she said, Jeannie, guess what? I said, what? She said, I'm 30 days sober. I went, Jackie, you, why? You know, she drank beers out of those long neck bottles. I drank bowls full of vodka on the rocks. You know, bowls full of Southern Comfort on crushed ice. Give me a bowl full. And, you know, I'm in the cocktail business, so they gave it to me, a bowl full. So when she said she was 30 days sober, I said, why? Jackie, shit, if you belong to AA, I couldn't even say the word for her. I said, alcoholic. It was like spitting up a fur ball. You know, couldn't even say the word for her. I had to go have a drink out of this margarita that I had going on just to talk to her about her going to AA. You know, I was not ready for you guys, but guess what? Divine intervention. God interceded in my life through another woman alcoholic, pulled me up out of those dredges I was in, and today I'm in the trenches with you, and I'm so grateful. So grateful, you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. How about Dixie F., July 5, 1982, Sun City. Yeah?
I'm Dixie, grateful alcoholic.
Hi, Dixie.
Kissing Tom, huh? They call me nagging. Thank you, Dave. I'm going to steal that. I already stole something from him, so I'll make amends twice now, because I'm going to steal the issue thing, too. But this morning when I seen him, you know, I know he has good days, and when he doesn't have good days, he has better days. And that's going to be mine. So anyway, I came into the program not knowing anything about alcoholism because Al-Anon sent me to open AA meetings for the alcoholic in my life, and I was a periodic stay-home mom drunk. And I was the alcoholic in my life and didn't even know it. But I was so grateful when I found out what was wrong with me because I was very uncomfortable with Dixie for years. And, you know, I didn't get here till I was 45, but somebody said they got here when they were 19. I could have come then, but I didn't know, you know. And I can't stop growing in my program and stop my regular age, because if I could, I would have tried it. You know, I just keep getting older and older. When I got here, I was 88 pounds, I had sunken cheeks and flaming red hair and thought I looked good. And today you can see I have matured. You know, they tell me not to drink for anything, and I have a long, long list of yets. And I have people telling me all the time in program that go out there and try it again, what those yets are. And I'm so grateful. Those yets keep me coming back. I go to a meeting every day. I've never been to too many meetings, and I've never been to a bad one, you know. And my buddy George back there went to celebrate my birthday for 32 years in my old home meeting in Seal Beach. And my youngest daughter stood up as a newcomer. That was a beautiful birthday gift. Thank you.
George C., October 10, 1972, from Canyon Lake. Yeah?
My name is George. I'm an alcoholic. And I got 2 months more than Dave. I got sober in Whittier, sobriety capital of the world, not Rancho Cucamonga. And I found myself a stag meeting, which had nothing but old timers in there, and I was brand new. And the oldest guy was a guy by the name of Roy Reese, who had one arm. And he'd stick his other finger in my chest and yell and scream at me and quote the big book. And finally I got mad. I said, "How'd you lose your arm?" He said, "They caught me stealing out of the seventh tradition." And I believed him. I went into Serenity Hall shortly after, and I saw a guy leading a meeting at a round table over there. And everybody had a big book because he made him have a big book, and he had his big book and a gun. And the first thing he would do, and he'd say, "If you drink, I'm going to blow your head off." A lot of people stayed sober in Whittier. And that's how I grew up in AA. The first thing I ever heard was "get in the car." And they took me all over like I've already heard. And my first AA meeting sober was with Norm Alpe was the speaker. And the first thing he says was, "I used to throw up with the windows rolled up." And everybody started laughing, and it wasn't funny because I had just got through doing that, but that's
You know, if we're going to close the meeting on time, that's all we're going to have time to come up here and share. However, I would like to call names out and have the individual stand and wave to us, let us know who you are. How about Sally F., May 10, 1983, from Culver City. Does this say Laverne S.? Is there, can you read that? Is that Laverne?
It might be Lauren Smith.
No? So much for her. Okay, Rick S., February 28, 1982, from Rancho Mirage. Okay, gone. All right, Rita L., March 5, 1987, from Cathedral City. Guess I got tired of waiting, huh? John B., May 10, 1982, from Apple Valley. Doris C., March 11, 1992, Montebello. Wow. Bruce D., January 4, 1985, from Big Bear. Helen A., January 27, 1978, from Running Springs. Yay, Helen! Pat A., August 26, 1982, Crestline. Sally J. from Los Angeles, December 1, 1983. Uh-oh, here we go again. So, I don't know. Another one?
Oh, that's
The same one? She filled out 2 cards? Oh, well. Okay. Walt G., March 17, 1967, from Running Springs. Walt? Oh, no, you know what? I knew he couldn't come. Okay, that's it. Let me see what the format says. Okay. It's time to close the meeting. I would like to thank all the old-timers who have shared today and all of you for attending. Please rise, hold hands, and recite the Serenity Prayer with me.
Sorry to interrupt your viewing. Caper Dave here. Just wanted to take a second to ask you to like and subscribe to my channel and let me know if you like what you're listening. I've got some very good talks here, and this one's a great one. Just curious, do you think this is better than Zoom? Tell me what you think. Okay, this is how I prepare my drone for launching. I like to do it inside the cab of my truck so I'm not standing outside in the weather. To install the joysticks for control, up and down, right and left, powered on. I have an Android phone that I use to connect it to the drone with. And it's actually controlled through the iPhone, through an app. Oops, wrong way. It's actually controlled through the iPhone, or through this Android phone, through the app. It's actually controlled through the Android phone, through an app, and you connect it through this short connection right here.
Remote control connected.
Remote control's connected. So I pull out the drone. I have to extend the legs. Long legs extended first, then the short legs. Remove the gimbal protector. Set that aside, then power it on one short burst and one long burst. I lay it down. So I have to go to calibrate. So the drone's not connected yet. It shows you here as this drone gets disconnected, even though the remote's powered on. So the drone has to establish it's connected. So I go into the app to calibration mode. First I'll calibrate the remote controller. Start calibration. Out, in, oop, out, in, up, down, and then this little wheel is to control the gimbal. So it's calibrated. Go to gimbal calibration, start calibration, and then it calibrates the gimbal. I don't know if that shows up. The gimbal's moving all over the place. Changes, you can see it on the video. And I'm calibrated to take off. It's acquired 7 satellites at the moment. There are 26 satellites up in the sky, which it has to acquire before you can take off. So it's connected. It's got enough satellites. This is white. I can go to press this little arrow button, swipe right to take off, and it would start the motors if I slid this to the right. But I'll wait till I get outside. Don't want to do it inside.